taking your craft abroad. Thank you for helping me seg into this conversation as creatives. When I watch movies, I cry. I mean, not just because it's emotional or whatever. I'm like, I can see the work they are putting in, and I can understand that the environment in which they are allows them to be able to perform on that level. And in as much as I know that I can perform on that level, I can't do that here because
mitigating factors.
Yeah, but you, like you said, you can't keep waiting for life to happen. At some point, you have to go and get it because Nigeria is talking at you every day of your life, and this work that we do is a very vain job. The older you get, the more difficult it is. I want to ask. I mean, literally, by this point, you're pitching. Like, what do you think of your career right now and what you want to be? How do you feel? When you think of your career right now and how you want and where you want to be, how do you feel? Considering the fact that you are worlds away from where great things happen.
Okay, let me say.
I'm talking film now.
Yeah. So when I started film, right, I went from when I knew I don't still know anything, right? But I mean, like when I know nothing about cameras, right? About writing when I knew nothing, right? I told myself, I continuously told myself, I have to go study abroad, New York Academy.
NYFA.
That phase.
I was calculating.
I saw
Oh my
money
God,
going.
I had that phase.
It was so bad.
But I get
It was
42,000.
so bad that I went online. So I think when I checked, I think it was 16,000 then. I went online, clicked the link, started registering. My mother is not rich. Let's start from there. So I have no way of getting the money. But like I was so into the world, I started registering and all that. A random day, a white woman called me. Hello, I'm calling from Knife. I'm like, whoa, it's happening so fast. And eventually everything died down, right? Because of course I know that I was just so immersed into that idea of NIFA, right? That I believe that I actually have to go there to be able to do something great, right? So I went from that and then, started learning gradually, doing small stuff, started doing all that. Then I went from that to saying that actually, if I do enough work, I think I don't really have to go there to learn, right? Then I got there and I just have to keep doing, The more I do, the more I learn. And what am I really going there to learn? Then I went from that to, I think I actually need to go. Yeah, for real. Because I've just realized that if you look at this industry, right, a lot of things that are not right doesn't just boil down. Before, it used to be capital, it used to be money that goes into, production. Now it's no longer like that, right? Now it's literally human skill. Human lack of it's just lack of skill. Like the industry right now, like you said earlier, has every reason to be doing well.
You're correct, but I also don't think it's that technical know-how. I don't think it's still the technical know-how. If it's about that, let's generalize. Let's look at the films from Africa that have been made in the last 20, 30 years. They were great for their time. They were beautiful
for their time.
It's Sarafina, for example. So if you want to afford Sarafina, do you want to afford Sarafina on choreography or music or acting or?
I mean,
for the time doesn't mean it should be lesser than the time. Do you understand? Now we have everything, and I don't think it's about the equipment or technical know-how. I think it's about that thing about us as Nigerians, that's impunity, that's ignorance, that sheer ignorance.
It's like we're not awake.
I'm sorry.
I call it ignorance. I think it's more of arrogance.
Arrogance, exactly. That's actually
arrogance.
Yes, that's the word.
And
See, someone posted something recently. He said, "Now it's time for even though I don't buy it totally, but it makes a lot of sense." For the people within the research and academic space to begin to, not them, the people within those practicing, they need to begin to actively involve researchers and people within the academic space. It's not for nothing. We have the most beautiful minds somewhere.
Let me reference another film, Marini's Black Bottom.
Ooh, that was a good film.
And rest in peace, Charlie Wilson. I remember watching it on Netflix. They had this other clip where they showed us the BTS of the movie. And I remember the lady who did the costume. She did the costume for I think a party scene in the movie, and they had 150 background actors, and they said that she made individual costumes for
Every one of them.
everyone,
I
and
saw it. I
every
saw that
costume had a backstory. So as she dey give you the costume, they tell you,
She told you.
say this fabric, I won't give you this color, now waiting. So most likely this is your work, this is your job. And guess what? Now old woman.
Now,
So you see, it's
Now,
no longer
woman.
you see, it's no
Like-
longer
like I'm
about
saying that-
this. We
So
have
it's not
all
about
these
maybe
people.
if she was younger or stronger. So she's
we
but she
actually have
because,
that.
It's
because she
dedication
loves
to
the
the
work.
craft.
You know,
It's
you said
dedication to the
something
craft.
about Nigerians not being able to. You know, like there was this running joke on Twitter, like Nigerian writers in their books, they're like, woke up to the serenading sound.
Yeah.
No, those are the
Of Lagos traffic.
I don't want to use that word because they find it offensive. Those are the Obodo Nigerians.
Yeah, wait, but my point is,
Oh.
Moshood made a
So,
point
but
about
there's a
that
word they
thing,
use for them. I don't want to use that
Yeah,
word.
I
about
understand.
seeing beauty in like romanticizing the ordinariness of
Yes.
our lives.
Yeah.
Nigerians don't have that. So at our core, we prevent our artistry
Oof.
at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Do you understand?
Love it.
Like we're in a country and like, why this one they cry? Why this one like
Yeah.
emotions are a joke.
Mm.
But everything
Yes.
comes from
But
inside.
there's
Nigerians don't want
always
to
an
admit
audience
that
for
they're
it.
human.
What?
There's no audience for a lie.
No.
Because at the end of
joke.
the day, emotions are in everything.
Yes.
Everything.
Everything.
Which is why you can have something perfectly done, but you're just like, why did this story fall short at the end of the
Like
day?
There was just this.
There's no soul, there's no- There's like,
Honesty.
life is
Yeah.
beautiful. You see things as the human experience.
Mhm.
It's like, you can see the beauty in grief. You can see the beauty in like understanding that someone needs to be somewhere. The same thing,
Yeah.
dismissing the existence of the mental health.
Yeah.
But that's what makes us human, our minds.
And that's why you
one
can
thing.
be performing a play and someone is laughing at a rape scene.
I mean,
Yeah.
That.
Laughing.
that's
We
one
were in
thing.
a play now. Was
Nigerian
it
audiences.
We haven't touched that
See,
realities properly.
we haven't.
They're so
We haven't.
insensitive. That's why there's so many jokes about everything on
Yeah.
internet. Nigerian,
Yeah.
we cope with our
Sensitive
humor. We cope with
things,
By the end of the day, things are real. Things happen. Like, and you're a human being. You feel things. If you keep denying that you feel things, all your stuff is going to be dishonest, and you will never.
Another
be who
issue
you
I
think
have
you are.
with-
And
When
that's
I
the
said
place
that-
of the
when I said that-
filmmaker to pick and sieve all these things,
Mhm.
to be able to
curate them.
curate them in such a way that is
Yeah.
so outstanding.
Exactly.
Because it's so easy for us. I mean, yeah, I know filmmaking is a very difficult art,
Mhm.
but we have the time, we have the
Pre-production.
Art. They forget that it's
Pre-production.
an art. It's an art. At the end of the day, it's an art.
Ah,
It's an art.
I mean,
You have a
Which go with-
responsibility to the art.
And do you teach this in school?
you don't
well, no, some people have really good drama teachers actually, but they're not the norm. Do you understand? Some people have like
Because
I
I
can
feel
speak
like-
for UI. I can speak for UI. We had some drama teachers that actually that's
Learning
why
to hard. Learning hard.
yeah, do
Yeah.
you understand? We had some really good teachers that would actually instill these things. I wasn't even a student at theatre arts, and I gained knowledge.
Same here.
Do you understand?
Same here.
Do you understand? So there's some people, but how many people are privy or like privileged to go through some of those masters?
I also have something.
You know.
Still on this issue of taking your craft abroad. And I feel like we all conveniently forgot this part. As working actors, we know how much we put into what we do, right? How do you feel when you now watch one guy play a role in a movie abroad and then you hear his paycheck?
God, you are
And
bad.
like, he got paid $2 million for what?
No, for real.
For what?
Let's not go that far.
No, but we need to go that far because that's why people want to
on
live.
this
She's
subject,
even trying to buttress your
let's
points.
not go that far. Background actors abroad earn more than we do here.
That thing
I'm
is
not talking about our
so
own background
ridiculous.
actors. I'm talking about
No, like it's so ridiculous. Like
Yeah.
when I'm on set, I try not to look at background. Like I'm just like
Hmm.
God, because I know at the end of the day, I've been in places where you're out in the sun for hours. At the end of the day, you get. I mean,
Pay.
and you can't complain because nobody forced you to be there.
Yeah.
Mm.
And
Everybody
that's
knows
the
that
first
it's
thing
not
I'm gonna say.
right.
I'm in a
Mhm.
group, right? And it's an alumni group.
Okay.
I'm in a group, and they regularly post
Job openings
call
and
for
stuff.
most of the call for background actors and all that. And then some of them will be like, pay is 7K, pay is 5K. And then when you come out to say this is just wrong, it's not even enough for transport. when you come out, they say you have to start from somewhere. You have to pay your dues. Please, let's dead that idea of you have to pay your dues. Please, 5,000 naira for work. It's not me paying dues.
It all boils
It's
down
me being
to lack of
exploited.
Yeah.
accountability.
Yes.
It's me being exploited.
Yeah.
It's
True.
not right.
Yeah,
And-
I had I think one of my classmates, his friend was a background actor in Children of Men, and he said that I think she said she was just passing. They just made a call. She said, "Okay, I could do this. Today is free." The money she left with that day helped cover tuition at some point.
Are you
Wow.
kidding
Yeah,
me?
so it's really good money. But
But must,
So-
you know, be sad knowing that as talented actors, you are here earning shit money. Well, there's one there probably who has half your talents making like over 100 times what you're doing here. I won't even lie. At certain points, I've been like, man, because I know how much I put into my work. It would be nice to be able to
To see.
live like the work you put in.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Oh my
sure.
gosh.
Definitely.
I recently worked with the director who called me. Okay, the producer called me first, and she was talking to me. They were excited about me. And then some days later, the director calls me as well that, sorry, she's not on the project anymore. Reason because she was insisting they pay me a particular amount since it wasn't a lot of work. But the director wanted to pay me more, way more. So she it was actually a thing like, I don't know, she's not doing that much work. So she can just be paid this. And it's like, no, I want this from her. I know how much this demands, as a performance. So they stopped, we didn't work together anymore. And then I can tell, when somebody fights for you that much and then sees your worth, it reflects in your performance
Of
as well.
course.
Yeah.
We were on set together at Moshood.
Hmm.
And then we've spoken with our friends now, how they feel about how being sad about not having money can make your performance just bland because you're like, what's the point? At the end of the day, these are not important.
Yeah,
Let me
especially
just
when
be
it
going
forces you
home.
to take a job that this is not what
I would have wanted to do.
Exactly.
Yes.
So it's real, you're I want to be rich as well now. I was watching Notting Hill again, and then he's asking you, how much do you earn from your job? And she's like, large job, $15 million. I'm like,
And the bookseller, the bookstore guy.
yeah. And
That's a
I'm like,
classic.
when will I start earning $15 million for a job?
Honestly.
You see Florence Pugh, you see Zendaya, you see Timothy Chalamet, they are paying them
Like,
millions.
yo.
$12 million.
I
These are-
see
guys.
something.
I
what
also
are
hope
they-
you realize, right? I also hope we realize so that we are not just, talking in our own world, right?
Bring that.
That
Mhm.
the money Hollywood makes,
Yeah.
we don't make
The
one
industry.
over
Yeah.
100
I was
going to
say
of
that.
that
There's
money.
a counter.
So there is no
Okay, so
But something that
invest-
can
always ask
there
them
is
like
no
for
the
that
streaming
much.
executive
wars.
producer that would invest as much
Mega.
into a film.
Yeah.
Just because this
No,
$15 million thing, this
No,
No, you have to
of course
see
not.
that. That one is just us going
Because
out.
sometimes I also think about it.
No, we are not
situated
asking
in
for
cons-
them.
in
We are not
context
asking
of-
for them to go
As
to
extreme
the
as that
extreme,
sounds,
but
but-
to do the needful.
Come on.
But
Exactly.
it's
Yeah,
just as
yeah.
your heartstrings, not regarding your heart doesn't know context. It's seeing 15 million.
Yeah, exactly.
But also, don't
there's
forget,
something
like I
else.
said,
I love
guys, sorry, like I said, the importance of accountability. Now, in those places, you have unions.
Yeah.
Yes,
You have
exactly.
agents, you have managers,
Yes.
people who will fight for you in those rooms and be like, no, he's worth this, and then they can say, okay, you get residuals after this and this and that.
Even
So
up
even if
to
they
your
don't cheat you,
food, do you know that even your
Those
food
guys
has
can
to be
protect you.
heated?
I
Even
know.
if your served cold food is a violation.
yo,
Even
if
as
it's late,
small as that,
they'll get
if it's
fined.
late, if it's not heated,
So
like
if
these
you
things are
direct
so.
a producer to speak with your manager or your lawyer instead, they're not going to call you back.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
don't. They
Yeah,
won't back.
it's a
That's
running
right.
thing.
I,
Yeah.
I,
Yes.
I have
True.
something to say, and this is, I'm digressing a little, but not digressing totally.
Okay.
It's still about Nigeria
Yeah.
and any society
Mm-hmm.
that does not value human life.
Yes.
So whatever we say, whatever thing we're talking about now, here,
Very
it
peculiar.
happens even within the healthcare system in Nigeria.
Yes.
Yesterday, Praise was still telling me about lawyers, that lawyers are the most exploited people in Nigeria, be like artists. And then we're arguing, lawyers, artists,
And then
lawyers,
there's
artists.
doctors on
You
the
know,
side.
there's doctors on the
Ah,
side.
But so I
They're
think on
not
a general note,
you
it's
see me?
really about that
Teachers said
society
you.
that places no value on talent, on human life. I mean, human life before talent. Because when the society accepts, we know countries that would ban or chase out every member or citizen of another country because a citizen of this country has been killed in your country.
Yeah.
You know, just to make a statement. But you have a society where you are being beaten at home. You get arrested abroad. Nobody cares. The health system. So I think it's that lack of, value for everything that is
Yeah.
you.
Empathy.
So it would
Yes,
affect the
that's
filmmaking.
empathy.
I'm not taking away the fact that we have some insane gatekeepers, apologies for that word, insane gatekeepers who will tell you, no, this budget, we can use this budget to make 2 movies. Why
Yes.
spend all this
Give it to
budget
me, I can
in
give it
one,
cheaper.
why should we have spend this entire budget making one movie? So I understand there's that bit, but generally it's still within that structure. Everything is really structural.
Yeah.
If you have a society that places value on your talent, on your brain, on your time, even knowing that, so you have associations and equity, you have base rates you have daily fee that even as a novice, you're on a film set for a day, this is what you must earn. So things like that, then those structures will be in place.
Yeah.
But it's a grassroots problem. It has to start from somewhere. If not, we'll keep living. And then Yorubas say something, they say, Anyong beaja dun, but kila maje ki aja to jino. So the roasted dog, roasted meat is really sweet. But what do you eat until this meat is ready?
Because roasting takes
Until
time.
we get to that Zendaya level, until we get to our dream countries to become the TV stars, definitely not Korea anyway. But
Why not?
yeah, how do we work around what we earn here, what we have here? And I'm not really trying to bring you back because even when you jackpot today, you still need at least 1, 2, 3 agents. You still change from one to the other until you find your big break or until you begin to meet people. So, but before we get to that level, how can we make this? How can we hold these producers accountable? Like, no, pay me this.
Don't we have an actor's guild?
Let's not really get started. So first of all, you had mentioned, what do you think about your career, and then stuff like that. Then I want to draw back to excellence. You mentioned Marini Black Bottom and then the beautiful work the costumier did, and brought me back to Sandy Powell. I think she did costume for Irishman, and Scorsese had her bring slides of every character, what color they wearing would affect how they think, their psychology. It would show in the flannel shirts. So now that is excellence at that part.
It's in the details.
Bring details
It's
down.
not the blue
Details.
shirt
So
you're bringing from your home.
You're going to be on set tomorrow.
Yeah,
Please, can you come with 2 black trousers,
you have
one office skirt, one blouse?
Just
last week.
do all
Just
these.
last week.
To do all these.
There was
to
a
do
production that asked me to costume myself because it was a short film. Costume, can you just bring a t-shirt? I'm like, I'd really prefer not to. Because first of all, your vision for the character, I need it to translate so I can make sure we're on the same page. What would you give this character to wear? It's different from Gbemi going to her wardrobe to pick out her clothes.
Her own clothes.
Everything is different. If you want me to be in a particular headspace, I have to look.
And feel different, yes.
Everything matters. But just dismiss all these things they're not the...
And these things, you don't need $200 million to
You don't.
They are just
cheap shirts.
And what I eventually wore at the shoot, I would never wear it. I wouldn't look like that.
Exactly,
so if I brought my own stuff,
Yeah.
the character wouldn't be the character.
Exactly.
And also,
it
why?
goes back to
What's
say-
with this rush? What was this? We have shit next week. You're shooting next week, but you're just still an actor today.
Yeah,
Just
like-
I don't care if it works.
You're so nice. You're giving a week's notice.
Where are you? Alpha, I fly back home.
I'm very
Also, I
very
wanted to take
particular.
me to Oshun this evening. If you are free this evening, we're going to Oshun.
That's wild.
I will never be free.
I'm talking about
Oh.
pre-production, the
Yes.
work that should go into pre-production. And like you said, it's not a big budget. It's actually more of creative.
caring
thing.
about
It's-
it.
yeah.
You love your
Yeah,
work.
yeah.
Mind.
You love your
It's actually
work.
just
Excellent
passion.
oriented
That's why
mind.
I
So-
say you can't bring an idea and put it on rocky soil.
No.
Our soil is already.
Yeah.
We need to till it first. Do you understand? So it's not even as much as we are situating it to the artistic space, it's the same, like you said, lawyers are, we're talking about it yesterday.
Teachers are there.
Before
Yeah.
teachers will come and drag, before you know, it's everywhere. So I feel like because it's so, the macro space might be too big and daunting to start to face. It's micro.
It's small.
Is where we should now focus on. Just that, because I try to do my part. When I see 18-year-olds, 21-year-olds ask me for career advice, I tell them, this is it. Don't accept this. And they're growing. I see the other one, I saw him on Indani set, and I was so happy. This is someone that used to send me monologues and say, and he was awful. I had to tell him he was awful. And for Uche to tell someone that I love you, know that I'm very nice.
It's part
But
of it.
I see the guy killing it, and I'm like, I saw him unschooled, and I was so happy.
Yeah.
Do you understand?
Good
He's not
voice.
giving me 1 naira. You know, sometimes I recommend him for jobs, like one time 25K, and he was like, okay, how much am I going to give you? And I said, Jesus, God forbid.
As in, what do you
God
mean?
forbid that I will
Wait,
collect
that's
1
what
naira
they
for
use.
25K.
That's what they
That's
do.
it.
And-
Do you
and-
understand?
and-
God forbid.
I'm no longer an actor. If you ask me my dream,
That's
I
an
really
actor.
want to act.
That's an actor.
I'm saying I haven't done this for so long because
Yeah.
I'm just always afraid. I get really cranky. I've been chased out of places before because they feel like he knows too much, and I try really not to. The last production I worked on, I worked as the second AD,
Okay.
and I just told myself, after this, I'm not interested anymore. Except God help me, I make my own films, or I make films by people I join and I work, and people I can learn from, earn more, help other people. But I really don't want to, because it's a very scary space, and I really, really salute you guys. You don't know how much prayer because it's hard.
It is.
So we were on that set, and they needed extras. We invited the usual way now. Oh, we need a boss. We need to pick them up. It was even in like always the first point, to bring people. And then they got there. I had been working with the producer, interestingly, Big Film One, and the EP. So I knew what the budget, I knew everything we had. And we brought the extras. Actually, we brought more than enough, because the usual thing, bring my friend, club scene and all of that. And we had about 200. Initially, they were going to pay them 10K. But me too, I was flown from SA to Nigeria to work on that job, on that project. And, anyway, so they were going to pay them 10K, but it felt like, okay, you shall give them food and let them be transported. Let them know that this 10K I'm taking, it is 10K for no ticket. It's just, 10K. And we had this man. I will always mention his name, if you don't mind. But this Emeka man,
I know his last name.
he was going to cut off 5K from
Ah,
over 200 people.
Jesus, 50%.
We had bosses, over 200 people, 5K each, and I was going to die. We had to stay there. I had to shut down for that day. I called someone from the office, from the Film One office. Excuse me, ma'am, we need you here. This is never going to happen. I will. It was insane. But they found it really. Let's just do it.
This person is so notorious. I didn't even need to get a last name.
It
That's how bad.
It was really, really bad. And so when you look at people like that, and then you offer them 25K, or they offer 25K, it's just normal to say, how much will you take? Because that's how they've been trained.
The rot
because they want to give it willingly.
Normalized. And
So-
me, I was even feeling bad, because I was PM on the set, and I had begged that, okay. But it was just like, they were like, okay, it's just one scene it's going to be in. And I said, let it not exceed. Because this money, I was even feeling like it was bad. And he was still saying, hey, I felt bad.
So Moshood, back to the question. I was actually going to touch on you and then exporting your craft. So there was something the Korean government did. So South Korea, they are broken from North Korea. They don't have hard power. Talk about hard power, talk about military and the rest. Yeah. So it's easy. Let's do soft power, right? And that is exporting your own culture. So I think they had a 30-year plan.
30-year
Yeah,
plan.
Yes.
and they did this with the creatives. They did this with the creatives, and now the creatives.
Okay, and you had it.
Now, so see how it panned out. You can't talk about beauty and lifestyle without mentioning South Korea. They're number one, beauty lifestyle. Then K-dramas took the world by storm.
It was a thing. It was
Yeah.
called the Halloween.
It was a thing.
K-pop.
Then these boys, BTS,
Yes.
right?
Mhm.
After
See.
BTS, more guys and more guys. Now my sister, she's hooked on anything Korea guys
Yeah.
are
Oh
saying.
my
Same
gosh,
here.
BTS is
Yeah.
going
Same
to
here.
serve in the military for
Yeah,
some
yeah, and
months.
people are crying.
The industry, the economy of the entire country is going to lose about 1.9 million or
Off of
billion.
creative.
Yeah.
Off of
creating-
BTS.
Off of
They
BTS.
just
boy
want
Just
band.
BTS.
creatives, exactly.
Just
Just
BTS.
one group.
So
Yeah.
when Parasite nabbed the Oscars for Best
Best
IFN,
Picture.
It was
Yes.
inevitable.
yeah, so
honestly.
people, I saw articles about it, how intentional these guys were. So it's easy for them to influence other cultures, in how big
Yeah.
America is. And now you're having their boys come and then take part of your creative entertainment income.
You want people, you want
Right.
people to watch like the video awards or something.
Yeah.
Invite
BTS has to be
Exactly.
Girls are
Like,
singing.
that is what
Yeah.
South Korea did.
So the
Yeah.
government so
Wow.
partnered. In fact,
Yeah.
I think
In South Korea, sorry,
Yeah, sure.
that 1 year military training year, you can actually skip it if you win, I think, a Grammy, an Oscar, or you win gold at the Olympics. Like it's actually a thing. Like it's so important for you to go. But
That's
like
my
if
dream
you
country,
win
by the way.
either of like those awards, or you win a gold at the Olympics, they feel like for you to have done that,
Like,
then
you are very
there's
important.
actually
You don't go for
Yes.
that training.
Yes.
There's actually no point to go for that training.
So you're saying how if that it comes back to the country now, we can actually export our culture. And you're looking at how they are telling, we can actually go there, right, and tell our stories. So that was another thing I was thinking about. The guys jackbarring. So you jackbar, and then since we have a community there, we have a diaspora community there, we can start pushing our own stories over there. Well, if we can do that there, then we'll garner critical acclaim. We'll come back, partner with these guys. It's the Oscars. Is
Sorry to
easy.
cut you, but I'll say one thing.
Yeah.
I've always said it that Black America and Nigeria have had this symbiotic relationship over the years, since the 70s, music, film. I remember when Beyonce released Black is King, people went, Beyonce's trying to copy, take from Africa.
They say she exploits
She's
African
exploiting.
culture.
And I'm like, wait, hold up.
Culture vulture.
Culture vulture. And I'm like, wait. I'm going to act like in the 90s and 2000s, like Jamaica wasn't trying to be American.
I mean,
Like Rita wasn't trying to be,
Mm.
like
Yeah.
we didn't have a movie called
Beyonce and Rihanna.
Like Prince of the Caribbean tried to rap like
Yeah.
Yeah.
like Busta Rhymes or something. Like it's always been that. And then when you look at a film like Coming to America, you've always had that give and take, give and
Yeah.
take thing. And I would have loved to see the way the guys in music
Yeah.
entered that
Yeah.
side using
Yes,
black
yes,
artists.
yes.
And like it's nice to have like a Tyler Perry or an Oprah or
Yes.
I mean. Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
Well,
but it would be nice to have those guys actually like let's have that exchange because that is a way I feel like we can get because let's be honest with each other. White guys, I don't think they want to fuck with us like that.
I always like to say something when this comes up. So when we always put the yardstick with the music people, let's also not forget that it's easier
To
to
continue.
consume music. So you can be at the gym and hear tribal. Oh my gosh,
Yep. Yeah.
you can hear something and say, "Oh, where's that sound from?"
Mm.
Because it's too. If it's even a J boy song,
Film is a more
Wow.
complicated.
There was a cut.
do you understand? So it's a short song, but a movie, even if it's a short movie, it will still be like 15 minutes, 18 minutes. If it's a
Yeah.
feature,
You need
it's even more.
attention.
You need
Yeah.
attention,
Care.
which is depleting, by the way.
Yeah,
Let's
yeah,
not
yeah,
forget.
yeah.
With every generation, with
seconds.
every decade, it's depleting. So we also have to understand that and of course that is also a very, very difficult industry to break into.
Hmm.
So their level of success shouldn't really be put side by side with ours without context.
No, I'm not saying
You're not-
side
no,
by
no,
side.
no.
I'm saying that they can help, or we can reach out to them and have an
Collaboration.
understanding.
Yeah, but let's also
Collaboration so we can
understand
infiltrate that one.
let's also understand the two sides
dynamics,
of
of
it,
course,
the
of course,
dynamics
of
of
course.
it. Yeah,
And
that's
finally-
what I always like to.
Finally, sorry, I forgot. Just one last question.
Yeah.
To end this, because wow, in my mind I was saying 1 hour.
Oh my God.
One exactly. So they didn't even realize.
Hey.
Lastly, people want to leave the country because of their kids
Okay,
Mhm.
that's true.
and their family.
That's true. That's true.
For me, as a Yoruba man, I think to myself, like, do I want to raise my kids in a white neighborhood or in a neighborhood that's not Nigerian? Because I loved the way I was trained. We're talking about
The identity crisis would be crazy.
yo
Yeah. You and I were
non-visual
talking about
cues.
it.
Like
And
I don't want to read a child of
Yeah.
that does not understand non-visual cues. I was able to say, and you get it. Yeah.
No, you don't even say
It
it.
is
not
not
saying-
saying.
No,
Like
you
you
say-
like you say the translation.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, okay.
And there are these things, and I love the fact that I'm a Yoruba child that was raised with those values. I don't want,
Yes,
and
yeah.
I want my kids to. And the thing is that, like we say, it takes a village to raise a child.
Mhm.
What's the village there?
There's nothing.
There is nothing.
In a way, for me.
Right now, they say you can be in what's North Pole and throw a stone and hit a Nigerian.
Yeah.
Yes.
Everywhere,
However,
everywhere.
But
it's
there's
still
nothing like home at
different.
the end of the day.
Yeah, it's still different for me. Forgive me because I don't want to jackpot. So anything jackpot, I like to like.
Antagonize.
Yes, and yesterday I was telling someone like all those jackpotting, they are just lonely people. They are just I was just having my own fun. But yeah, I realized that friends, it will take time. But people who have left even in the past 2 years, they're still always on your WhatsApp, still always on reaching out, and because that space it's a really wide space. Even when we attend festivals, and it's something that it took me years. When you want to be your friend, it took me years to realize you are only friends and you're only smiling at each other when you're working. Tomorrow, job is over. Hi, good morning. See you tomorrow, and it's all over. No, I can't greet you, or I
learn to
cooked
be
this
aloof
thing. Let's
from the
aloof.
wife.
You know.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think we were chatting about it, about this. We're using this environmental sanitation. Sometimes I remember in the barrack when you don't offend, now you go clean that Saturday. And now you go clean that Saturday. And my parents, and of course our parents, some of them would have told neighbors that give him work well. He didn't do something, or he offended his father, or something. So make him do more. So you be the one packing everything, and that's that community training you.
Character building.
So for me, they have to be well. But
then
I think really it's
the issues of education, of health for your child.
It's a sacrifice at the end of the day.
Yeah.
you can't
Yeah,
win.
I-
You
I-
have to give
know
something
that
to
you
get
can't win it all.
something.
You're not
Yeah.
gonna be able to
Yeah.
talk to your family. Your children are gonna be not aware where they're from. You're gonna feel detached. You're gonna feel lonely. You're gonna feel depressed. But they make the decision
It is-
anyway.
Because
they feel they
it is
need-
literally what's it called, a lesser of two worlds.
Yeah.
Right, I think we're talking about it. You have to choose,
Yeah.
what works for you. But like when you're over there, try as much as possible to do what you can. I think I was telling you when we were chatting that I have an uncle in the UK. We with 3 kids, and every time I'm talking with these kids, I naturally just want to speak English when you both speaking, right, and they never reply me with English, no matter how much English I speak, right. They just reply me with Yoruba. Yoruba is, of course, as K-leg, but like, hey, how are you? Moa, Basa. But like, I actually appreciate that gesture, that right,
Yeah,
that
yeah,
as much as possible, they've told them when you're home. And when you're talking to people from home, you speak Yoruba. It is a rule. You get when you get out, when you're in school, I mean, you're speaking English all day anyways when you're outside. And I actually just appreciate, and I feel like as much as possible, when we're there, as much as we can do, let's try to
To hold on to whatever.
hold on to what-
Yes,
yeah.
an example of this, I saw a video. That video, I've seen it since God knows when, but I never forget that video. A couple of young children were having an argument with their grandma.
Oh
my
God.
God.
Yes.
They were
Yes.
speaking. They were
Grandma,
speaking fluent British English, like Queen's English, and all of a sudden the girl code switched, and she was like, "Grandma, and there was no
yes, it is
accent.
video. Oh my
Yes.
god.
There was no accent.
Yes, it was pure.
It's a very old video.
Like,
yeah.
pure.
It was
beautiful.
pure
Mode
Yoruba.
Barrow.
Yes. Very.
I loved that video because it shows that even though their parents aren't in Nigeria, they instilled that culture. They made sure they never forgot their roots. You can be anywhere, but it's up to you to instill that into your children.
Yeah.
I think it's, for many of the folks that travel out, there's that fear. So they try.
Yes.
They don't put in more effort than we here.
Yeah.
To make sure their kids. I remember one
There are
time
kids
when
that
they always
don't
do it
understand
alone.
Yoruba,
Yeah.
or that can't even speak it, that grew up here in the
Yes,
Yes.
yes.
in Ibadan.
I can remember a particular
In Ibadan, bro.
Yeah.
Yes.
No, I actually know.
Yes.
I grew up in
Yes.
Ibadan. There
There
are
are
kids
people-
I know in
Yeah.
Ibadan that can't speak
Because
French.
I went to
And-
Ibadan for like a week and I was a bit lost. Everybody was speaking. I'm like,
I
I
grew up
came
in
into
Ibadan, I
my
know
school. That
kids
doesn't mean
that
I
can speak
understand
French,
Yoruba.
yeah.
So
No.
I grew up in a Yoruba
Sometimes-
house, and I couldn't speak Yoruba, and the thing really pissed off my dad. So he did something. He said, "Nobody's going to speak English in this house." He made sure I left because I couldn't. I was instead of shaking Laura, I was saying wow or some
Yeah,
some
whoa.
stupid thing of sort. So he was like, "Nobody is going to speak English. This Yoruba, you will speak it." He made sure I learned how to write in Yoruba, how to speak Yoruba.
Wow.
Wait, am I the only non-Yoruba here?
No. Monagino.
Oh, okay. But you speak good Yoruba, right?
Decent.
Okay, decent. Okay.
On that note, we have to call it a day. I will say that this has been one, probably my okay, one of my favorite
Just say
conversations
it,
of the year.
For
This
us.
guy.
But I learned a lot. I'm sure the audience definitely just experienced a masterclass. Thank you guys so much for your time and your patience and your stories. Your story.
Your story.
Very nice one. And I hope that this will help people decide on what to do at these times. Because peer pressure is a thing.
Yeah,
It is.
I just seen your friend go and seeing that person go is like
FOMO.
just feels like
How do you guys say it?
Yeah.
Fear of
missing out. Yeah.
You're not that old.
Yeah, how do you guys say
That was how do you guys
So
do
sorry.
that?
It's just
I'm
us.
sorry.
I
This is the first time I'm hearing the full meaning. So please, thank you.
Wow.
No.
Sorry,
Ours is just like
I played a mother yesterday. It has not left.
it's always us like, how do you guys
yes,
say
you
it?
got
It's
it.
alright.
Sorry.
There's some things I am like, please, what is
keep
Help
up,
me,
keep up, keep
help
up.
me.
No, but this was nice, and I hope that it will help people just really think about what they want to do before they actually do it. If you want to stay, you can stay. If you want to go, you can go. But just know that for every decision you take, there's a price to.
You ready for the road ahead of you?
Okay,
Just
okay.
be ready.
Once again, thank you, ladies and gentlemen. This was fun.
Thank
This
you.
thing as a day job.
Thank you.
You're Black Jimmy
calories.
Kimmel.
I just had to be myself. I'm sorry.
Wow, Jimmy.
Nah, this was fun.
This was fun.
This was actually.
So at this point,
It's-
the team is rolling up. The credits are rolling up.
Yeah.
I'm very honored
Yeah.
to be here because, like, I don't know why you think I have great
Clearly.
opinions.
Clearly.
Okay,
Ah,
come on.
clearly.
Come on.
There's no audience for lies.
In the trailer, that thing has
It has to be there. It has to be there.
That was
so annoying.
It's just caught on
There's
you.
another one
I
said
want
about
to
that.
I want to see that.
Being a Nigerian doctor is like being a good pilot. with
In a
a
bad
bad
thing.
pilot.
Yeah.
Oh, right down.
Mama was
Just dropping those words. She was
My
dropping
darling.
the gems like.
No, I'm a fan of Amy. I'm a fan.
Aw,
Big fan.
stop.
Don't you like it? Don't you like it?
No.
Some people like it.
I like
I'm
it.
just honored.
This was- and shout out to the team as well.
Yes,
Yeah.
thanks, guys.
Big divers,
Yeah.
behind the camera, Spark, behind the camera, Deba, my longtime enemy and friend, behind the
Your
sound.
friend me.
Thanks for keeping the AC on.
And the person that wanted to put off all the AC.
Amy!
Wow.
That person.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yeah, we'll do pictures.
Yeah,
Yeah.
please let's
Yeah.
do pictures.
Like this
Okay.
here.
With the lighting here. Abi?
Yes,
Okay,
okay,
Diva.
so can we have the AC on now?
No, it's under the picture.
Ah.